Okay, we've loaded up our original image. We call up levels and bump the middle level over to the left a little bit. This lightens the midtones. I've also pushed the whites over a little bit to the left to bump them up as well. Now looking at the entire image, I decide that it needs to be cropped. We can see a little bit of the reflector in the bottom, bare feet, things that wouldn't have been in the original composition that I shot on film, but due to the proportions of 35mm format of the digital camera, we have to crop these things out. And there we've got our crop. Just a little bit of saturation. We pump it up a few points here, just to give it a little bit richer color. And now that we've boosted the color, we can see even easier that it's a little bit off. So I am going to reduce the green just a little, add a little blue to get rid of some of the warmth of the yellow, and decrease a little of the red. I think that looks better. Now I look at it and figure, what does it need? Well, the subject's face is a little bit harsh. I'm going to zoom in using the healing brush. Very small size, only slightly larger than the blemish size. I'm going to go in and quickly remove those. Now from smiling, she has some muscle tension in her chin. So using the clone brush, set almost transparent and a little bit larger than what we used with the healing brush, I'll start to clone areas of the face coloring over some of these tense muscle lines. Just smooths them out a little bit. A little bit of a line here on the side, smile lines. And then using this same clone tool, we'll do a little bit under the eyes. The healing brush eliminates the lines and blemishes totally, so I like to use the clone brush so that I can leave a little bit of the line, the features of the face intact, and just soften them. Now we go and select the dodge tool. I'm going to work on the eyes a little bit. I'm going to overdo the retouching so that it shows better in the video. You don't want to overdo, but I am here just for example purposes. Starting with the dodge tool, smaller than the size of the specular highlights in the eyes, I'll go in and dodge them a little bit. Here I have one where I can see the reflector, but it's muddied up a little bit, so I'll dodge the reflector in the eyes as well to lighten that, add another specular. Now often I'll select the area of the whites of the eyes and not lighten, but desaturate them a little bit just to remove the pink. It just whitens them a little bit without making them look like they're glowing. Still using the dodge tool, I'll lighten darker areas of the eye, a little bit in the corner, dodge the iris a little bit, and then I'll switch to the burn tool with a very small brush, and I'll darken the pupil to make it stand out a little more. I'll also darken along the outer edge of the iris to help define the iris. This makes the eye stand out a little nicer. And then just for fun, and to experiment here, I'm going to work in some eyelashes. Now these are going to look a little phony. I'm going to overdo, but I just want to show what can be done and how quickly you can do this with something just as simple as the burn tool. Now we can zoom out and compare the two eyes. You can see there's a major difference. So now we're going to zoom in on the left eye and start over again. Using the dodge tool, we're going to dodge the specular highlights, including the one from the reflector that is muddied up. Switching to the burn tool, we're going to burn the pupil once again, and the outer edge of the iris, of course. And it should end up looking something like that. A little bit of the eyelash enhancement as well. Again, go easy on this. I'm doing much more here than what should be done, just so you can see it easier. Some of them are her actual eyelashes, other ones I'm just painting in. And there's the two eyes. Zoom out, look at the image. As I look at it now, I feel the shadow on the side of the nose is just a little dark. So with the dodge tool, about the size of the shadow, I'll pass it over it a few times and lighten it. And next we're going to concentrate on the teeth. Because we turned the saturation up at the beginning, we added more color to the teeth, which helps bring out any yellowness. So we quickly do a selection, just a rough one on the teeth, and then simply desaturate. Don't lighten, don't brighten. Just pull out some of that yellowish saturation that we added. And it just whitens them up a little bit without making them look phony. And now we zoom out and see what it needs next. It could use a vignette. I have one on my film camera. I don't have one on the digital just because it gets in the way. If I was shooting digital all the time, I would. But we're going to add a bit of vignette here by selecting black, almost transparent brush, quite large in size, and using the airbrush, we'll just spot the vignette around the edges. Just a little bit of black here and there. And even just a little in the background, just to darken it. Then we'll go to the saturation sponge in saturate mode and tend to oversaturate the blue in her jacket and in her jeans. She's wearing a contemporary denim outfit which has kind of a washed out yellow stained appearance. That's the in thing right now. And it gives the image kind of a drab look, so we're going to pump up the blue. And then we're going to grab the burn tool, burn down the background a little bit so that she stands out from it. These are things that you would do in the darkroom. We do different spots of dodging and burning. There's also a flaw on the chair, on the black chair, where some of the paint's chipped off, so what I'll do is just burn that down so that it doesn't show. And then in finishing, as I look at it, the midtones seem a little dark, a little contrasty overall, so I'll bring up levels one more time, and I'll bring the middle slider to the left a little more, just to lighten the midtones for the final look. And that's a finished image.